Manila, the capital of the Philippines, is hot and gray and thick during the day, just waiting for the night so it can awaken and turn on. At night, the cities of the Philippines burst into song. Everyone karaoke's and videoke's at any opportunity. Manilanites also find young female guest relations officers hitting the streets and gross Western men attached to their arms. But I was only in the capital a few days. The Philippines retains widespread Christianity and English-speaking from its time as a Spanish and American colony, but there are places further afield that have held on to more traditional culture. 6 hours to the north, in the heart of the Cordillera Mountains, lies Becky O City, a beautiful college town nestled among pine forest high in the clouds. Almost 100 years ago, this mountain retreat was designed to hold 20,000 inhabitants, and now its daytime population is around 150,000. So it does have a waste management issue, smog from the jeepneys, and it's the most landslide-prone city in the Philippines. But the spread of red houses on the hill really are breathtakingly beautiful. And about 20 minutes away lies the small municipality of Tublay, which is a lot more peaceful still. Here, the Cosalan family, who are of the Ibeloy tribe, and descended from town founders, have a compound of houses. And from here, it's about an hour hike, or an hour pickup ride over a very bumpy road, to ENCA Farm. This side of the mountain has been in the Cosalan family since the 1800s. They hid from the Japanese here during the Second World War, and though for 30 years they had to engage in legal battles with the government over the land title, Uncle Andy finally won the case in 2001, an unprecedented victory for Cordilleran people's rights to their ancestral land. ENCA is named for Enrique and Carmen, who celebrated her 80th birthday while I was on the farm. It's mostly run by totally warm Auntie Olive, who lives here full-time, and totally cool Uncle Bob, who drives in every day listening to Igorot country music. Sherry, the wonderful and extremely driven Peace Corps volunteer, has spent almost 3 years here, helping bear fruit for the Cosalan's vision of turning the 40 hectares into an ecotourism site, with its primary goal teaching respect for the environment. Since the farm went public in 2006, there have been over 300 visitors, and there are all sorts of projects in the works, nature trails to labia ponds, and a mud oven, as the whole farm is completely off the grid. I was the first woofer on the farm, the first in the Philippines ever, apparently, and I lived in a 2-story nipa hut perched on the mountain ridge. My time on the farm was in between seasons. The monsoons weren't quite over, and they were waiting for the new moon in October to harvest the root crops and plant the above-ground greens. So I spent my time weeding a slope of Arabica coffee trees and mixing cement for a CR. Comfort room is the name Filipinos use for what I call the poo-poo room. I also got to attend classes during Environmental Science Week at Benguet State University, where Auntie Linda worked, and where Sherry guest lectured. Here she asked students to draw their ideal use of land with a river down the middle, then lined them all up and showed how communities upstream affect communities downstream. And I got to field trip to other organic teaching farms in the area where they researched different methods of composting and taught local farmers about organic growth.
May tulong na rin ka po.
Next day, pagano naman. Turning ba? Turning.
Every day?
Every day para mabilis for 1 week. Yeah, because you don't need to water it anymore. There's moisture. Because you have to have a certain level of moisture so that the heat will come in. Yeah? Talk about shit now.
Yeah.
Before you go home, you'll mix some shit.
Sure, of course. Of course. That's what I'm here to do.
We are at the museum on Cordillera culture, and Mr. Josh right now is learning to play the flute, the nose flute, if you will, next to this wonderful statue of a man, an Ifugao man, playing a nose flute. Very good, Josh. Very good.
Most interesting of all my treks off the farm, a few hours from Tublay, over a very thrilling road, lies the Ifugao rice terraces, a 2,000-year-old feat of agricultural engineering hewed into the rock and in continuous use by the villagers of Batad. Batad is a beautiful place and a UNESCO World Heritage Site, but it requires a strenuous 3-hour hike to find. Its protected status also means that even in the midst of such timeless splendor, an artificial line down the center of the village guides tourists past examples of authentic tribal practice. But I chose to wander on my own, up and down the impossibly steep stone platforms. Witnessing these terraces was one of the reasons I chose to come to the Philippines, and they were splendid. I came back to ENCA my last time for Lola Carmen's 80th birthday party. Her 10 living children all attended, which was the first time they'd been together on the farm in a long time, along with tons and tons of kids, like almost 4-year-old Shiosa, who I adored during my time in Tublay, even though she insisted on only speaking Ilocano to me. Though she knew English, we understood each other. A cow was sacrificed for the occasion, which was intense. I don't want to romanticize it. There were no Ibaloy ceremonial rites performed on this occasion. But this cow was also not caged in an American factory farm in its own filth and fed antibiotics to keep it from getting sick. It spent its life roaming a mountainside and died an honored death.
Basit! Yakuton tidakkel!
Nagdakal ng ilaw!
Di ba ka tidakkel? Ay, yung sausaw mo na itangin na to.
Ilaw!
Ya, rabing dahil palang ka. Pulin mo. Tidla. Aman. Say, matangit sila to.
Alak jay ipus na! Uncle, dinardaraan niya.
Oh, titinardaran ba ka?
Picture!
got a bunch of pictures, yeah. No, I got a bunch of pictures. So it was good to have that relationship with something I was eating for the first time. And the piña paita and the men prepared, while the women worked the veggies, was delicious.
You married for love, not money.
I don't understand! What are you saying?
Carmen was clearly the matriarch of the entire family. Women play an extremely powerful role in Filipino society, in the family, and in business, and in government. This, the relationship with the earth, the honoring of ancestors, and the essential commitment to family and community were some of the reasons I liked Filipinos a little better than some Americans.